and that's the water tower we're aiming to build. So what we now do is put some rivet detail on the tower. I don't think that has it on, but we're going to put it on because it just looks nicer. And obviously some going up in various parts. We'll just put some more rivet details in there. And then we're going to add this piece on, which is the bracket details. We're going to make a bracket and that pipe going down and the bit coming out ready so he can fuel his engine. So that's what we're aiming to do. So we'll carry on doing what we're doing. So first off, what I've used is my little machine I bought from Model Laser Engineers. It's a little kit you can buy. You can make it up into a riveter. And what I've done is rivet myself some strips of 30 thou plastic card, and we're going to stick them on like so. And we'll go right round on all three bands, and then we'll put some in between going up just so it makes it a bit more. So I'll carry on and stick them on, and then we'll catch you up again. Right, so we've now put the rivet detail on. A little bit heavier than the one on the original tower, as you could probably see. I don't think they had it on this, but again it's not exactly the same one, so we're just copying it. But that's now back on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the pipes. We use what we did the original with water crane, plastic tube drinking stores with the elbows. Obviously I need a T-piece, a piece to go there, that'll go under there. Obviously I'll shorten it, that fits under there and onto a bracket here. So I shall carry on and do something with that now. I'll put the bracket on first, where that is like that. You have to be quite close. There's a little bracket comes off there. We'll make something to fit on there, glue it on, and then we'll carry on and make this piece. Right, so what we've done is we've chopped our bit of pipe up to make something look like the bracket. So we're now going to pop this in there. So I'm going to put a little plate on, drill a hole to get this pipe in, and it'll glue in there like that, and then we'll put a bracket underneath just to support it. So I'll take that off. It's quite a fair way in. I'll just give that a little dabble. That looks about the right angle for it. Yeah, about there. Bit of glue on the back of there. Pop that in there. And that'll give me somewhere to drill, so I can drill that diameter and just put a hole in there, so that'll just go straight in, no messing. So I'll measure that. .237, 238. Right, what I've done is I've drilled a hole through to match this pipe. Put these two on, cut them down a little bit so they're out so long, these bits, I mean they'll glue and stick. Pop it back on there, and there's our first part. I mean obviously that'd swing out to the thingy, to the actual locomotive, and we'll now make a bracket for here. Right, so what we've done now is we've used our plastic drinking stores, what we made the original water crane out of from my own railway, and I put on the YouTube before. So what this one does on the picture, it drops below the tank. It's on a little bracket. Well, I've made a bracket out of Foamex and a bit of plastic card, just so it's something there. I've used another of the circles I cut out of here and just drilled a hole and squared it off and popped it on there, and just tidy it up. And what I'm going to do now is literally offer that up. I've put a little round edge on there, that'll go into there, so it's like so, and then that'll go like that as a bracket. and then that obviously I'll glue this to this part, glue the tube to there, and that would turn. Not that I think you'd be doing that, I mean it is just for display only, and we'll carry on from there. But I think that looks somewhat like the bracket they've got on the original one. Into there. Oopsie daisy. Back into there, make sure I'm nice and level. Looks alright to me. Don't stick your fingers to it, it does make it awkward to get them back off again. Just rotate that slightly. And there we are, that's that one in position. We can jiggle that about to get it exactly straight. I think that looks pretty reasonable. Right, so we put our T-piece in and our elbow, and these are the plastic straws and this is the plastic straw bit. We pour them in. I've put them into drilled a hole right through, so there's a little bit more pipe goes in. This pipe goes into there so far, and if he wants to move it round when you glue it all together, then so be it, you can do. So now what we've got to do is I've got to drill a hole through there and through there, because there's like it would be like a piece of wire, but it's supporting this end from there, so it gives it the extra, stops it bending. So I'm just going to pop that hole through there and put a piece of wire in. So what we've done now, we've just added this bracket in, this support on there. So we've just drilled a hole, piece of wire, threaded it through, so it now gives it that piece as though it's protecting it and giving it a bit more support, so you don't put it bend or anything like that. All we need to do now is there is a valve under here. I ain't quite sure how it works and something what hangs down here, but without seeing that bit I really don't know. So it's something that Charles could maybe add himself. So what I'm going to do now is, there is a hatch at the top obviously because there's a ladder up to there, so we'll pop that hatch on and see where we go from there. Right, so what we're looking at the picture now, there's a set of ladders come directly opposite at the back of there, like there. So we presume there must be a hatch of some sort here, an inspection hatch. So what we're going to do is we'll make something up to look like a hatch on the top. I don't know if it's where it is up there or not, but like I said before, I'm not climbing up no ladders that high to have a look. So we'll put a hatch at the top and go from there. Right, so what we've done is we've put a little frame on at the top. We've made a little tiny hatch, and we're just going to stick that in there like that. That would do it. And we've now got to put a loop here, which is for the ladders. I'll make that in a thin brass strip. I'll cut a piece of brass and just make a loop and then glue it onto there. And all we've got left then is just the part for this. There's a lever comes up with a chain on it, and obviously that's to open the water vent to put the water into the tanks. So that's our next stage. We'll make the little lever, probably out of plastic card, but I'll have a look in a minute. Right, here we are, it's finished, or as finished as there is another part what goes up from under here with a valve, but I can't see it enough to know what that does. So I've left that part off. And what I've done is we've used a brass ladder, a brass hoop at the top, a little bit of chain. This is the lever what pulls the water to release the water into the loco. This is the part obviously what swings out and swings in. It's a fair copy of the one at Welshpool. I don't think it's a disappointing copy of it. We was never going to get exact. We just went for something as close as we could. And that's it completed. It's not a massive amount. The only pieces we've got out and specially bought is the plastic tubes, which is a drinking store kit. The actual brass tube to mount it on. Now you could use a plastic tube. It would do the same thing. And a brass ladder. Ladders are very difficult to make. You can buy these. I think they're from Sweet 16 or one of those. Nothing's glued together yet because obviously I need to spray it for next. So what I'm going to do is spray it all grey. But yeah, them's the only outlays we've really put into it. I think it's a little treat. It's certainly different. It's definitely Great Western. There should be a little nameplate on there. Suppose I could carve one and put it on. But that's about all you'd put on. Right, this is it all completed now. Everything's been, we just sprayed it grey so they can do it themselves. I'll turn it round so you can see everything. It's as near as I can get to the Welshpool without doing a scale model. I think it's turned out pretty reasonable. It took us just over a day to make, so it's not a big project, and we think he'll be happy with that.